Good evening, my beautiful friends. This is Nightfall with Maui Paul. We are here today to go over one of the I am cards that I pulled this morning. So every morning at 9 a.m. I pull an I am card, and it informs my day. It helps me to first of all I lead some people in saying nice things about themselves. I say some nice things about myself. Today, the nice thing that I said was that I am driven. That was the card that we pulled today. I am driven. And when I pull a card in the morning, it's always a little bit of a leap of faith as to whether or not this card's going to show up in my life. I expect that it will, and it usually does. I mean, I can usually tell how it's shown up in my life. And so I started to meditate on that stuff. And now, because I meditate on that stuff, here it comes into my world. So I'm going to talk about how it showed up in my life. But first of all, hey, how's it going there, Easy? I see you there. Good evening. Glad that you made it over here to Nightfall with Maui Paul. So when I when I pulled it this morning, I said, I am driven. My core values motivate me. And as I went through the day, I recognized that my core values really were motivating me. You know, one of my core values is excellence. I like to do things well. Whatever it is that if it's worth doing right. It's worth doing well. And today I put together an order for an improved lighting system in here. I currently have a very temporary lighting system. It does what I want it to do, but it could certainly look a lot prettier. And so I am going to make that happen. And I also put up some mirrored film up here in my space to really expand the space out a little bit. I did that, and as I was cutting all this film up, and really obsessing a little bit about just the way that it fit into all the little nooks and crannies of my home. I thought to myself, I was like, why am I spending so much effort on this thing that only I will ever know about? And I realized that I was driven to do it because I value that craftsmanship. I have that value inside of me. And so I am driven today, and I would love to know what kind of things that happened in your world that drove you today. So first of all, I'm going to ask you, are you driven? You are driven. Your core values motivated you today. And I'm going to write that down in the chat. And in doing so, I'm going to hide behind my card. Check it out. There we go. I'm going to do that and check it out. I have a new camera that I can just slide over like that. Oh my goodness, look at that thing. It's amazing. I swear. One of the things I did today was that I improved the camera setup on my wake up call. I was just using my built-in integrated webcam, but I have this much nicer webcam that had just been sitting in the box, and I hadn't done anything with it. And so today I was able to get that thing completely set up and figure out how to integrate it with all this streaming software and whatnot, and download all the drivers and all that other crazy stuff. And so I was driven. I was driven to do a lot of stuff today. I accomplished many of the things on my to-do list. And I'm very curious as to how did that show up in your world? Like, how were you driven today? How did this card, what does it mean for you? I actually created a whole bunch of new cards today, or at least I created the words and the, what are they called? The little caption at the bottom. And so tomorrow I will create the visuals for them and basically put them onto some card templates. I'm getting close to actually having a professionally printed series of cards, and I'm really excited about that. I'm going to print out maybe 10-15 decks, something like that. I'll offer them to the people who watch this and who would like to have a physical card in their reality, because these things are cool. I'll put it on that side. These things are super cool to have, but they're lovely, but they're also not very professionally printed. So I found a company that can actually print small numbers of card decks. So I'm going to print out maybe 10-15 of them or so and offer them to the folks who watch this. I think that'll be a lot of fun and a great way of really bringing it into the world. I've decided the company that can do it for me, they can actually print them out fairly large. So this is this is printed on a 4x6 right now. 4x6 is pretty big, and the final size of the card will be just a little bit smaller than that. And my goal is, or my goal for the people who own one of these decks is the same as my goal for myself. And my goal is that I can just sort of like set it somewhere and it'll catch my eye as it'll catch my eye as I'm doing life. So I'm pretty excited about that. Moving forward on that project, I have enough of these cards now that I can start to think about actually having a deck for them. And how cool that is. I started off with somebody else's deck, and I'm moving into my own, which is so fun, so awesome. So I see you there, Shauna. I see that you say you're driven. You too accomplished more space evolution. I know that you are working on improving your space, and so I'm proud of you for that. Good job. Lauren says, I cleaned out a big closet that I've been putting off for some time. I love it. I love it. One of the things that I talk to my lifestyle design clients about is like, their space, their what does their physical space look like? And so many times people will say, "Oh, well, I have a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom house, and I use the living room, and then I have a bedroom, and then I have an office that I never go into, and then I have a junk room or a storage room or just some room that's full of detritus from an earlier life." And it's so I'm always very proud of my friends when they clean out big closets. I actually cleaned out a little closet, very little closet. If you look right over there, that one right over there, that little cubby hole, it was completely full of junk earlier today, and I've made it my mission as I'm remodeling this place to make sure that the only stuff that's allowed to live here is stuff that I actually use and touch every single day. If I don't use it every day, it doesn't belong in my space. And if I use it only sporadically, but it needs to be in a climate controlled place, okay, fine, it can get buried in the back of a cabinet. But I don't want to have a situation where I go into a cabinet a year from now and find something that I haven't touched at all. Like if I don't touch it, I don't want to have it in my place. And you darn right, Shauna, I am taking that win. I am taking that win. I've had a whole day completely full of a lot of different wins in a lot of different areas. And one of my secrets, I'll tell you what it is that I actually do. I write a paper to do list, and my paper to do list, I will write it the night before. And the reason that I write it the night before is because it's so much easier. I have so much more mental clarity when I don't need to do the work. And at nighttime, I'm usually tired. I'm usually ready to go to bed. I'm ready to sit down. In the daytime, I can be really frenetic and running around and wanting to accomplish things and wanting to move stuff around and use my physical body and expend all my energy. And so sitting down and writing a list, even if it's a list that helps me to keep on track and get things done, is absolutely positively not something that I want to do. And it's intimidating to write a to-do list. So somebody once said we write a to-do list to forget. But the things that we write on our lists are the things that we don't actually want to do. And that's such an insightful way of putting it. And yet I find that the things that I put on my list the night before, when I have a whole night of sleep in between now and then, are things that I really do want to do, the things that are the most effective and efficient. And then I sleep on it. And then the next day, I usually wake up and I look at that list and I say, I could accomplish this really efficiently if I just look at it a slightly different way. So I sleep on my list. And I found that by the time I woke up in the morning, half of my list had gotten done without me doing anything, simply because I recognized that some of it was unnecessary, some of it was a duplicate, some of it was that I had changed my plan a little bit and I had figured out a more efficient way of doing things. So it comes right down to it. It's so much easier to write my list in the time before, the night beforehand. And so I encourage you to do the same thing. And writing it down is the first step to making it real. And when I'm just thinking about it, I can't organize it. And I found that when I wrote like digital to-do lists, I've used all kinds of digital software, like Evernote and OneNote, and I use Obsidian, note-taking software, organizational software. These things are incredibly powerful. but they're not nearly as real as pen and paper and just writing it down. They're not nearly as real. So I encourage you to actually write down the things that you want to accomplish, the things that you purpose to accomplish, to write that stuff down. And as we do write these things down, we take that first very small step into making it real. Because I might not be lifting a finger to accomplish anything on this list today, but I am lifting a finger to use my pen and write down the letters to, like this right here is work. This right here is the easiest possible work. And that's something that I'd like to touch on when it comes to getting things done. I love to break things down into the smallest possible action item. I find that getting started is the hardest part. Getting started is the scariest part. Before I start, I have no idea if I will succeed. But once I start, I realize again and again and again that I know how to solve the problems. I know how to do this, do the things and stuff. And I find that even though I break it down to like the smallest, tiniest possible steps, that I always accomplish more than what I write down. So for example, today I wrote down that I would pull my webcam out of the box. I'm so scared to set up this webcam. It's not like it's rocket science to set up a webcam, my friends. It's not like it's difficult. But I just said, okay, well, I'm going to take the smallest possible step. I'm going to take it out of the box. I'm going to put it on my desk and take it out of the box and look at it. And of course, now it's perfectly set up, and I downloaded all the drivers and I made it work, and I'm really happy with it. The video quality is better. The audio quality is better. It's got a better microphone in it than the one I was using. Everything is better. But I didn't set out to have it done today. It just kind of happened that way. And I didn't set out to get done all the lighting project that I got done today. I accomplished a lot more than I thought I would. And I didn't, it's so interesting. We think that we need to set really high goals and high, a high bar for ourselves. And yet that stuff is intimidating and it scares us. At least it scares me. It scares me because, go away, Windows Defender. I love you, but go away. It scares me because I'm afraid of failure, just like everybody else is. And it's so funny because none of this stuff is hard. And I don't honestly, in my brain, expect that I'm going to fail at any of it. And yet it still scares me a little bit. So it's one of the things that I do is I just say, I'm going to do a very small thing. I know what my purpose is. I know what my goal is, but my action items are always very small. My action items are always something I can get done in 5-10 minutes. Because when I have a really big action item, it's just, I just look at it and I freeze up, and then I go make myself a sandwich and I go and procrastinate. And procrastinating is not good for my waistline or for my goals. So I found that it's so much easier to just do it the other way. So, anyways, that's my soliloquy for this evening, I guess. And I am now going to write my to-do list out. Tomorrow I have a very busy day. I have to do a whole bunch of giveaway sorting and giveaway sorting for a huge weekend that's coming up this weekend. It's one of the biggest weekends of the winter. And we have just a ton of stuff that we are giving away to all the people who are jumping in that cold water in February on Saturday. And so I'm the guy who is going to make sure that all those giveaways happen with a team of other people, a team of volunteers who are dedicated to helping me do it. And so I'm going to get that done tomorrow. That's one of my really big pushes. I have some other stuff to do to continue to improve this broadcast. I'm going to improve the intro and the outro videos a little bit, and plug my friend Brenda Jean's. Brenda Jean does a body recomposition. So she does basically like a body recomposition, mobility training and body recovery is what I'm trying to say. She's doing a mobility training and body recovery every morning, and it's a lovely thing. And so I told her I'd give her a little slide on mine, so that on my intro and my outro, so that people can go find her too, because good messages deserve to be spread. And on that note, I want to say thank you to the people who share this one. Because of you guys, I get about 1,000 individual impressions on these videos on every single week. And what a cool thing that is. What an honor that is. And I'm really excited to see where it goes. And I was watching an interview with Fred Rogers. And you might know him as Mr. Rogers, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It is indeed a wonderful, beautiful day in our neighborhood. And he was talking about, somebody asked him, they said, what is it like to be famous and successful? Because Fred Rogers is the same kind of person that he was on TV is who he was in person. And so I was watching an interview of him and Charlie Rose, and Charlie Rose asked him, what is it like to be so successful? And and Fred Rogers said, he said, we don't set out to be rich or successful or famous. We set out to help. We set out to help other people. We said, and if we get rich and successful and famous as a result of it, cool. But we set out to help. And I really, really love that sentiment because ultimately I didn't start this out to have 1,000 people watch it every week. I started this out because I wanted to get out of bed in the morning and because I recognized that my morning rituals help me. And so I am pleased to share them, and I am pleased that 1,000 individual viewers a week will tune into this. How cool that is! I'm looking at my view counter now. I got like 3 people watching live, and most of the people who watch this actually watch it much, much later on. And it's just such an interesting thing to watch that ball rolling, and it's humbling. It's a humbling experience. And so anybody who is willing to sit in front of a camera and share their thoughts with the world, I think has a tremendous responsibility to make sure that they're speaking life into everybody that they come into contact with. I think it's a really big deal. And that's something that's important to me. That's something that's very much in line with my values, and it's something that drives me because I am driven. And you're driven too. I will talk to you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. for the wake up call with Maui Paul. We're going to pull another card off my I am deck, and we're going to see how it manifests in our lives tomorrow. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming by and for enjoying this time, for sharing this time with me. This is your daily reminder that you are awesome and that I like you for who you are, and keep winning at life. Aloha. Let me do that again. Aloha. Nope, not that way. Let's do it this way. Aloha. There we are. I can get centered on my own camera, right? My own new camera, which works nicely. Aloha from paradise.